Alright everybody, word of advice, don't put off for tomorrow what you should do today. Yesterday I woke up and the bulbs were burnt out in the well house, which created everything to be froze. My water line, which runs up there, caused that to freeze, being the water quit moving. So yesterday I spent all day breaking ice, and I put tank heaters in there, which haven't been doing any good. So this morning I ran to Menards and I got that black tubing, which I should have done last summer, and a new piece of 1/2 inch PEX tubing to run out here. I already had that valve right there. But what I'm doing here now is I am going to cut part of this out of this gate so the calves can get over here to drink. And then I'm just going to have everybody drink out of this one tank. Then hopefully I can have the water run a little bit faster. I'm hoping this warm water is going to melt this ice. And this end over here, the boss lady is getting me a bigger stock tank heater on her way home. And of course more heat lamp bulbs. But it is almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My animals have not been fed yet. They like to be fed around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, noon. So I am a little behind on feeding, but I wanted to get this going first. As you can see, they all want water. They don't like cold water. And I was breaking the ice, and they were not happy with having to drink that ice cold water. So, get this done. Then I'm going to feed everybody. And as you can see, I got some salt around that leg on that gate right there. I'm hoping I can bust that free out of the ice. Take that 16-foot soup handle down. I got a 6-foot gate to go across here. And then we'll cut a piece of this pipe out so the calves can get the water. And hopefully that'll be good enough. I know I mentioned in my other video that I want to pour concrete all the way over here. I guess we're going to hope that we can at least pour a pad coming from there over to here big enough that the stock tank can be on and the cows can stand on concrete while they're drinking, just so it doesn't get to be a muddy mess right around the stock tank. But as you can see, I ran 3-inch drain tile. It's solid, it's not the perforated kind. As you can see, the sun is beating on it, and it is 0 degrees right now, and that pipe actually feels fairly warm when you touch it. So hopefully, if I have this issue again and it freezes, I'm gonna get out of the way of these pellets here before I get run over. Hopefully if it freezes again, I can just put a hair dryer on the other end of it, and blow heat through it to thaw it out, or hopefully the sun will keep it thawed out. But I will head to the shop and I'll show you the other end of this quick. Alright, so now I'm in the washroom, the mess room. I need to fix my hole around that the only thing I had to cut a hole with was circular saw, so there's a big hole there. Probably going to spray great stuff around that. And then I need to reattach my PEX tubing here. I left it a little long, just in case I ever have to pull more through and fix an end or something. I've got clamps, these hose brackets like that, to mount that up there so it's up there nice on the ceiling, not hanging down. But hopefully if it ever freezes again, my goal or my thinking here is I can put a hair dryer in this end, or my other thought was to get a piece of exhaust tubing that you use in a shop for venting your exhaust out the door when you're working on cars, when you're running them inside. See if I can find a piece that I can butt up to this end and then put over the exhaust on the skid loader, and run the skid loader exhaust through there, because that gets really hot, and the skid loader, the exhaust is going to have more pressure to push the heat through the pipe. But I don't know where to even find high temp rubber tubing like that. So that's something I have to look into. Otherwise, hopefully a hairdryer would work. And worst comes to worst, it's not hard to push this PEX tubing through this pipe or through that drain pipe. Worst comes to worst, I could pull this back into the shop. You can see it's looped up there. But I could pull it back into the shop and thaw it back out in the shop and then push it back through that drain if I absolutely have to. But this is how I've had so many things set up in here that there's pieces of pipe that need to get taken back down, but I just never get around to it. But I have a loop in it right there for the same reason, just so you have some slack in case you need to do something later. Here's my shut-off valve, my main valve for out there. And I've got a shut-off valve down there to shut everything off in here. But that is 170 degree water. The first 10 gallons of it anyhow. After that, when it's running full blast, obviously it's going to be cold water. But when I have it on a trickle feed, it's going to average between 150 and 170 degrees. That's what my wood stove was set at. It shuts off at 170 degree water temp. So that's what the water is that goes out in the stock tanks. And normally I just have it trickle, as you guys have seen, and that's always kept my stock tanks thawed out. But I have de-icers in there right now that are 250 watts, and they don't do nothing. So I bought them kind of as a quick backup a couple weeks ago when they're 10, 20 below, and I didn't need them. The hot water coming out of here was enough to keep the tanks thawed out. But my well house froze yesterday morning. The main bulb burnt out, and for some reason my backup bulb did not turn on. I think the thermostat is junk in it, so I need to get a new thermostat for that, because I have one 250 watt bulb that runs continuous in there, and then another 250 watt heat lamp bulb that runs on a thermostat, so it only kicks on when it has to. Just trying to save electricity that way. And for some reason it wouldn't turn on. I went out there and played with the switch a little bit and it came on. So, and then again this morning I come back out and I had the same problem. So I bought another thermostat to put in there to replace the one, and I bought more heat lamp bulbs because I used the last one. So anyways, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. I'm saying that because I should have done this last summer. That was the plan, and I put it off, and now it's 0 degrees for the high day, and this is what I've been monkeying with all morning. It would have been nice if it was done when it was warmer weather, and I could have saw if the hairdryer idea would work. So anyways, cows have water again, so they should be happy. It's a mess in here, I know. Someday we'll get around to cleaning that all up. But anyways, so that's how I have it run, just to give anybody else an idea if they want to do it this way. Me and my cousin, we did a bunch of plumbing in a dairy barn, a big freestall barn, and they kept having their underground water lines freeze. And 2 winters ago, they had us come and run new lines just like this, PEX tubing, up to the peak of the freestall barn, and then come down to each water through the top. And inside there they got this little valve that you open and close, and it basically just trickle feeds into the cattle waters, the automatic waters, and that's all that keeps those lines thawed out. And that's not hot water like what I'm using. So, you know, this doesn't have to have hot water running through it to prevent the line from freezing, as long as the water is moving at a decent flow rate. The biggest advantage I have with hot water is that it keeps my tanks thawed out. So that's just something to think about if you don't want to dig water lines, but you want it to kind of be an automatic watering system. Something to think about there. But running water doesn't freeze, obviously. Don't use any bigger tubing than you have to, because you kind of want your water to be moving fairly faster so it doesn't freeze. But if you can have warmer water run through there, that's going to be better yet. So anyways, that's what's going on today. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.